Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation actually was formed. I too do real estate. I own Nagel and Associates Realty. I'm an employing broker at Nagel and Associates. We have a couple of my people here together, or today. And what founded this whole idea is I kept seeing these acronyms on people's business cards. And one of them was, I'm a certified relocation expert. And one morning, after my meditation, which is something I do, the thought came to me, what do you mean a relocation expert? You know, we take people out, we sell them a house, we pick them up at the airport, we may list their home, and in real estate, that is the end of our expertise as far as relocation. And I said, well, I, on the other hand, because I was blessed to have worked with John Otten for years, I can walk into your house, I can list your home, I can survey your home out, I can tell you everything you need to pack to create it, put it on a van lines, work with the lender in the other state, work with the title company in the other state, work with van lines, whether we have to go into storage or go to your new home, and we can close the deal. And that's what you call full circle relocation. In thinking about this, now some people will hate this, but we need every one of the people in this piece. We need the listing agent, we need the van lines, we need the title companies, we need the lenders, we need the home inspectors, we need the sewer scope guys, we need the insurance companies. If we're going to provide a service to corporate accounts, who I have dealt with for the last 30 years, then we have to be able to give them something unique, something different. Because when you get an executive, and I'm going to pick on John, like John Otten here, and with his schedule, and he's traveling the United States, there's two things when he relocates he doesn't want, and one's to have to deal with it, or the other is to have to leave his wife at home to deal with it while he goes to a new location. So when I was a vice president with Pat and Air, Yumiko Supply Chain out of the UK, they gave me a $50,000 relocation bonus. $50,000. And with that bonus, I flew back and forth from Texas every Friday. First of all, I had 5 departments, and it killed my productivity. Secondly, it cost them a lot of money. And thirdly, I spent most of my time on a plane. It not only killed my productivity, but it killed the people that I was training, their productivity. So when this idea came up, we said, why not offer full circle relocation? Why not do beginning to end? And I said, because I've been in real estate, and I've sat on the other end waiting for these brokers to call me back. I don't want to be doing business with people who aren't going to call me back when I'm dealing with an executive. So what we've done here, and Desiree's going to kind of go over the IT part of it later, is we have created an entire network that's going to house suppliers for relocation. And I'm talking true relocation. The brokers, when you first walk in the home, it presents the perfect opportunity. 1, let me get your attention, you get your full commission. 2, you can make money off the van line. And 3, we make the employing broker on the other end sign so that you can get your 25% referral. You guys never even have to talk to them, okay? So the brokers are going to make a 3-legged commission on this, as to where everybody else in the home inspectors, all these people have to be in our network to go to these corporate accounts. I currently work with Lockheed Martin, Hartzell, Haru, Eaton Aerospace, THQ, Panasonic, Nintendo, Vestas. These are all corporate accounts of people that I get to relocate across the United States and overseas, okay? So Desiree, if you want to hit a little bit of this, we'll kind of explain it. And then I'm having John come up in a bit because I really want him to tell you the expectations of the van lines. Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation Services, we service corporate, government, military, and individual relocation from beginning to end. Part of the experience I have in the transportation, so you guys don't think I'm just another realtor up here standing. I started out in transportation and logistics when I was 19 years old. I do LTL, truckload, rail, boat, air, domestic, international, special products, and trade show, as well as household goods. So I was kind of, real estate is, well, I guess it's not my career. I was bred, like John and I were talking earlier, once you're in transportation, you die in it. I was talking to Milt from PEMCO. Once you're in transportation, you just die in it. That's kind of the way it goes. So what we're going to do is, are we ready, Des? Okay. Again, we are the first in full circle relocation. We are a single point of contact. So basically what happens is we are a network. So you guys don't have to deal with all this stuff. You're a part of the network. We're going to start it out as a rotating network. We're not going to be like a Zillow or a Trulia where you pay more money, you get more leads. That's not how it's going to work with us. We're going to start it out as a rotation, and as we get going, it's going to be based on performance. I see Nikki over here shaking her head, and what I mean by that, and Tony Tiemann and I talked about it yesterday on the phone, is there's nothing more frustrating in real estate than when you make a phone call and 4 days later you're waiting for somebody to get back to you. And, you know, you hear Oliver say it all the time at our commissions updates, that we're supposed to be like an ER doctor. And basically that means when our phone rings, if we're somewhere, we have to leave. And that's just the case in our business. We chose that and that's what we do. And van lines is the same way. Joe Kidd trained me in transportation years ago, and everything had to be there on time, and that's what we did. And that's what this relocation network is about. So what we plan on doing is everything will be housed in our system. We're a single point of contact. So you guys go out, you list the property. When you get it sold, you call us, we're going to get your van lines. Your job's pretty much done. You don't even have to call the other broker, because that's going to be somebody in our network as well. So you guys are going to go out and you're going to do your job, but you're going to make extra money doing that job. You're going to have software to survey the home. Takes you 15 minutes to do that, and you're going to be able to make commission off that software as well. When you walk in that house, you're listing it, you can survey it out and make extra commission off that. Is there anybody here that doesn't like to make extra commission? Because I know the Denver market's pretty hot right now, but if we all go back 2 years ago, how many people dropped out of real estate because they had one trade? How many people didn't have anything to do and all they did was complain they had nothing to do? What we're offering you here is not only extra commission now, but we're offering you a new trade of something else. Because, you know, 2 years ago there were 37,000 realtors in Denver. Now there's 27. These 27,000 people made it through making no money. And now we're going to teach you another career, because these people didn't know what to do when the market changed. In real estate, short sales are gone, right? But 2 years ago, if you didn't know how to do a short sale, you weren't eating. So what we're trying to give you is this, and in doing this, we've partnered with the van lines, and some of those is going to be outside of the network, and they're going to call us and say, can you send us somebody? And we're going to send somebody, and you're right in front of the customer to get a relocation of your own outside the network. So when we're talking about a lead program, we don't do referrals. We don't do any of that stuff like Trulia or Zillow. We actually give you the leads. It's a membership fee to belong to Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation, but we handle all the operations of that. Okay, so all the operations is handled in ours. Again, I've got expertise in van line, not as much as John. 30 years with Allied Van Lines, and now he's retired, so he took a vice president job with United. That's how retirement goes. But all scheduling, everything will be done in our corporate office here in Denver. Again, like I said, many people claim to have the mastery, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, certification is one, but everybody says I'm a certified relocation, exactly, and they all have a different field, but none of them have the full circle. I don't want to pick on anybody. Who here has a certified relocation emblem on their business card? Nobody? Or nobody that's going to admit to it now? A good friend of mine does all the investigations for the Real Estate Commission, and her and I were talking about these certifications. Because if I wasn't a broker myself, people could tell me, well, yeah, we really learned something in those classes. But I've been in those classes with you, so I know we don't. We don't get a test. They just give us some information, and then they say we're an expert, So this is something completely different. We are going to be a true full circle relocation network. We're going to train you how to do the van line piece. If you want to do the van line piece, make extra commission off that. Years ago, when I was doing household goods, I made $60,000 a year. And that was doing estimates in household goods 20 years ago. So when we're talking, you can actually make some good extra money on top of real estate. The term relocation means to move to a different location, not just buying and selling homes, only one small part of it. I can't do any of it without the title companies. I can't do any of it without the lenders. I'm with Kevin Barcelona at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for an inspection. It's a full circle relocation. Again, my expertise, we kind of went over that, so we'll skip that because I want to make sure we have enough time for John. We are a single source contact for residential commercial relocations. When I say that, if you're a commercial person and you're in here, and sorry, I'm walking back and forth, it's that nervous stuff. When I talk about the commercial and industrial, when it comes to van lines, they don't only just do household goods. So if you're a commercial guy, you can walk into any facility. Toyota's moving to Plano, Texas. All that needs to be moved. Everything in their facility in California, in Torrance, needs to be moved to Plano, Texas. So the commercial guy selling that can actually put that all on van line as special product and make the commission off that as well. So you're not only selling the building, you're getting a commission off the van line and then referring it to somebody in Plano who is actually paying you a 25% commission. Same with insurance. Mark Kinnear does commercial residential insurance. So we call Mark, say, hey, Mark, you need to call these people and give them a quote, so on and so forth. We've got real estate, moving and storage, lending, title insurance. We have our token attorney. We have homeowners insurance. We have appraisers, and we have inspectors. And today this is an odd class because we actually do have representation from every one of those fields. We even have Tony Tiemann, who is the landman of Colorado. There's not anybody better than Tony Tiemann out there. I don't mean to embarrass you, Tony. I just really respect you. This kind of shows you exactly what we're talking about. Our logo's in the middle. We are doing full service relocation. It shows you everybody that's going to be in our network. I had somebody that called me yesterday and said, well, what about designers? Yes. What about new builders? Yes. What about banking? Yes. We want full circle relocation. We're going to do a selection process. Nikki over here with PEMCO keeps shaking her head, and I think she is like right on the same page with me. When we're talking about the people we want to represent our company, and John's going to touch on that as well, we want people who are acting out of ethics, who are looking out for the customer, who are doing the right thing. So this is going to be a hand-selected network. The reason all you guys were invited is because you guys have the skills that we're looking for in people that we want to be a part of this network. Right now, we're on WebEx, so we're going across the country. There were like 106 people that are interested in this program. We have some in the UK right now. So we are taking this worldwide. But the people who were invited for a reason, and that's because they're people who do real estate the way that real estate needs to be done. They're lenders who are ethical. They're insurance people who are ethical. We want to make sure that for an executive, he's getting the service that he not only deserves, but that we should be doing because it's the right thing to do. Touching on a realtor, we do want all the people in our network to be a realtor, and some people are going to say, well, what's the difference? And I don't know if Brian, it's Brian, right? As an attorney, do you know the difference between a realtor and somebody who sells real estate? Okay, and that's kind of why John and I talked about this, and we put this in the screen. Anybody can have a real estate license, and I wasn't putting you on the spot, I'm just saying, because the general public really doesn't know this. You see things on NAR all the time, hire a realtor, and everybody thinks that's anybody on the street selling real estate, and it's not. They're actually people who belong to the National Association of Realtors. We have a code of ethics like you do as for attorneys, and like the van lines do now. It says that we're going to act fairly with our clients and we're going to do the right thing, and if not, then we can get an ethics violation. So John and I talked about that, and should we put it in? And it's funny because we assume everybody knows what a realtor is, and they don't. So, all right, our selection process, we want to make sure that you have your errors and omissions. We want to make sure that you're licensed. Some people here I emailed and I said, I can't find you because I'm looking on Dora, because I don't want you here if you're not licensed, because if you're not licensed, I don't want a lawsuit. So I'm looking you up. We want to make sure you're licensed. We want to make sure you have errors and omissions. You know, we want references. And all of this is actually in your presentations as well. We want lenders. This is huge for the corporations. We want lenders that are doing down payment assistance programs. We want lenders that are offering CHAFA, so on and so forth. Because we've got a national sales force on the ground, and when they're standing in front of corporate accounts saying we're going to relocate your people, it comes down to the bottom dollar. And with the bottom dollar is if I'm relocating Renee, and I offer to pay her closing costs or her down payment, if she's not paying it, then I get to save money. So we really want people in this network who can do down payment assistance, who can do different kind of grants, anything that we can sell to these corporations to help them with the relocation, because the more we save them, then that's the more relocations that we're going to end up getting from these people. You know, when we get to that as far as van line, John's going to talk about some of the great things that Van Lines has partnered with us to do that's going to save those corporations, save the military, you know, save the individual relocation. We're going to lower their cost. We're going to give them service. Right now with the economy changing, what we have is we have a network of people that are moving all over the country. Colorado is one of the hottest markets in the United States right now. People are moving in and out. You guys know as well as I do, we can put a sign in the ground at 7 in the morning, and by noon we have 8 contracts on it. You know, there's people moving in and out of Denver every day. Mortgage is going to be the same, and actually we've got our license verification, insurance, verifiable references, educational. We need to be, all of them have to be in good standing with DORA and the regulatory affairs. If you're under investigation with DORA, we probably don't want to put you in a corporate executive's house. Again, like I said, we're looking at insurance, we're looking at home inspectors, we're looking at appraisers, we're looking at lenders, we're looking at brokers, and then we're looking at van lines. You know, with all of you suppliers, we have partnered with the van lines. John and I worked together several years ago in transportation. I'm thinking close to 20. Poor Joe and Janet worked with me in transportation when I was 19. What a mess. But what we're talking about is how the program would work. And Desiree, if you don't mind, while you're muting him or whatever, I'll just keep going. Basically, what this would look like is when the corporate accounts call us and they have somebody relocating, we're going to go to the specific area. If it's Denver, we're going to go to that specific area, and we're going to go in our network. We're not going to flood the network because we want to make sure that there's enough business for everybody. We have said that if you guys want to bring on your lenders, as long as they qualify, that's great. You want to bring on your title, your insurance, whoever it is, we will consider putting them in the network, but we do want them so that they're strong, like Stewart and Fidelity or Megastar or Fairway, or, you know, Kevin's the best inspector I've ever seen in my life. He's lower in cost. He's great with the clients. Those are the type of people that we want here, that Kevin's not afraid to tell me, Sonia, this is bad, we need to fix it. And that's what we want. We want people who are willing to do the right thing for the customer. So what this will look like is a corporate account calls us at our office and says, we're moving John from Chicago to Denver. And I say, okay. So I call Diana back enough in Chicago and I say, Diana, you're in our network. I need you to go out and list John's house. While Diana is out at John's house, she actually lists the property. She surveys it out, which is training that would be offered to the brokers. She surveys it out. She tells John, okay, are you going to pack this yourself or are we going to pack it? And John says, I'm not packing it. I'm out of here. I'm to Denver. And she says, okay. She surveys it, says, okay, you've got these 25 boxes here you need. This needs crated. She does the entire estimate. That estimate is uploaded off the software into our system at Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation and then sent to John. John's going to get me price, not John himself, but John's going to get me pricing, and then I'm going to take it back to the corporate account. In the meantime, you guys have the listing. When the listing gets a contract, you call us and you say we have a close date. In the meantime, we've already contacted a broker that's going to pay you 25% even though you've never talked to them, but we've had their employing broker sign an agreement, and you're going to get 25% off that end, which, as we know, sometimes those just disappear and we don't see them. Okay? So once we get that broker in Denver who's in the network, then we're going to get with Mark Kinnear, we're going to get with Judy Stevens or Jason, then we're going to get with our title company, and we're going to get everything set up to close. When the broker here finds a property, she's going to contact our office. We're going to talk to the realtor here in Denver, say, okay, they're picking up all their stuff. Let's close the deal. So complete and total full circle relocation.
All right, again, I'm John Otten. I'm with Legacy Transportation Services, and we happen to be headquartered in Northern California. We have offices in Southern California, Las Vegas, and Chicago. We're a big part of the United Van Lines organization. United's parent company is called Unigroup, and Unigroup owns both United and Mayflower. So two of the largest van lines in the world. They also own Unigroup Logistics. And Sonia actually had made reference that if you come across a big possible commercial relocation, the Unigroup Logistics side of the business could be a big help in perhaps executing that and helping everyone play a role in the relocation beyond just the home and the housing. So without further ado, I'd like to talk a little bit about, like I think I hear in the real estate side of the business, everybody says location, location, location. So we know about that. But when it comes to actual moving, I think the word really would be trust, and 3 times over. Trust, trust, and trust. And the real opportunity for this full circle of relocation is that you will be the first person in the home and gain the listing. And in gaining the listing, if you do gain a listing, you know you've gained a rapport. You know you've gained a trust with that particular person who's moving. And if you can establish that trust, the opportunity to bring all of the other services of Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation is just going to follow suit. Because whenever we move, any of us move, we know the most important thing to us is our possessions. And on that front, I would say that being the first in the door gives you the leg up on doing the move. With that said, one of the things Sonia asked me to talk about is, okay, if we do a move and a relocation, the actual moving of the household goods, what is really important there? Well, what is important, it is clear that we need to have a solid survey of what the homeowner is moving. Well, the real estate people and the realtors are going to be in the home. They're going to be doing a survey of what the home is. And as part of this new network, Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation has a software package that you can have on your iPad. And as you go through the home, you will simply record and document everything in the home that's going to be moving. And that's what comes down to doing things right. And that is the difference between this relocation business and every other relocation company out there. As Sonia mentioned, I was with Allied Van Lines for 30 years. Some of you may recognize the name Serva. Serva is the parent company of Allied Van Lines. But the most important part of the business at Serva is not Allied, and Serva also owns North American Van Lines, just as a point of reference. But the most important part of the business is the relocation itself. It is all of the things that everybody here does. The real estate, the insurance, the title, the lending, the attorney fees, all of that comes under the umbrella of Serva. So in a nutshell, I think the advantage of nationwide real estate and relocation is you are in the home first before a Serva person would be in the home, and there is the opportunity to make that connection with someone that's moving. So on that front, I think I take it right back to the training that Sonia is going to provide through her group to anyone who's going to be participating in the program. So before I go on any further, does anybody have any questions or any comments about the moving side of the business that I might be able to answer? All right, well then the next step would be on the van line side of the business. We are honored actually to be a part of the connection with Sonia. We go back over 20 years and have built a solid relationship. And as a result of that relationship, we approached the parent company of United, our agency has, and in terms of connecting this particular business so that we can provide not only the survey of the household goods, but also give realtors the opportunity to provide a very fair price. And that's key. No different than a national account. Sonia, you mentioned a lot of national accounts, and those national accounts often have contracts with van lines. Well, nationwide real estate and relocation is going to have that same benefit. So you as an individual real estate or realtor company will have the same benefit of having an aggressive and competitive discount so you can provide that to the homeowner. And on that front, I think, again, that brings us full circle to giving you a leg up in closing the business.
I've heard the good stories about moving, and I've heard the really bad stories about moving across country especially. What guarantees can I, because if I sell them on a product and they come back to me and say, hey, this is screwed up, I mean, what's in place to guarantee that the safe delivery of their items and that type of thing?
Let me try and repeat the question. Is it come back to everybody has heard horror stories about moving, and I think that's where the value add of dealing with a United Van Lines is. Unigroup is the largest moving company in the world. So it's easy to say that you're part of the biggest organization and the best. So that's a good start. But it does come down to every single move. And with the standards in place at the large van lines, whether it was a United or an Allied or Jeff's company, Jeff Newcomer's company, Arpin, you're dealing with a reputable business because you hear of all those stories. So am I tracking with your concern that you've got a reputable company? And that, again, is the leg up. You have a reputable company. Unigroup, for example, was a Quest for Quality winner for 2013 by Logistics Management Magazine. It's a very coveted award that is done by a third party with no connection to any moving company or transportation company. So you're dealing with one of the very best companies in the industry, and that again provides you the resources, the information. You can provide the customer the materials that talks about the company you're representing nationwide, plus the van line itself. So in terms of damage, historically, 1 in 4 moves has damage. It may have improved to 1 in 5 today. I've been more on the logistics side of the business, but things do happen in terms of move. The better quality company you have, the lower the risk is going to be. I'm talking about industry-wide. The better quality company you're moving with, the better chance you're going to have a smoother move. The move is going to be on the date you scheduled it to pick up. the date it's scheduled to deliver. It's not going to be set off and put in storage. Those are the kind of nightmare things I think people hear about. A company picked up my goods and I haven't seen them for a month or 6 weeks. That is not going to happen with a large organization. And then at United Van Lines or Arpin Van Lines or any of the large moving companies, they are going to manage that claim right down to the full resolution. It's not something that's forgotten. Because it's just too important. With Facebook and every other way people are communicating today, you've got to take care of that client. Your reputation, your reputation is at stake. Great question. A key part of the nationwide real estate and relocation business is Sonia's group is going to have an internal customer service group that will grow as this business grows. That person will be in direct contact with the realtors, in direct contact with the legacy customer service team, and ultimately the van line. That all comes full circle. So you will have one single source to go to at Nationwide for any question, any issue, because you really do need a go-to person. There's going to be questions that even after your training that you may have difficulty answering. But having a direct call or contact with Sonia's group can resolve those issues.
So I have a little transportation experience too, and that's how Sonia and I met a little. And one of the things is when problems come up, just like in real estate, when problems come up, it's how you address those problems and how you work through those conflicts. And I'm sure everybody in this room has had the refrigerator that's gone out the day after closing, and you say, well, in our walkthrough, it was just working fine. Well, Murphy's Law, right? But in transportation, too, if something is delivered and then they unpack their boxes and say something is damaged, is there a claims resolution? Like, are we, as the agent, would I be responsible for going out to that house and doing a claims investigation? Or is that something that, again, would be handled by the network or by you as the service provider in that strain?
Basically, partly what we'll be doing inside the houses or when inside our office when we're doing the household or special products, whatever it is. Part of your training is when you're doing van line, you have general insurance that covers you. Is it still 60 cents per pound per article? Okay. So, but then they can buy additional valuation. When we're talking about the corporate clients, most of these people are going to buy additional valuation. We don't say insurance because I'm not an insurance agent, but it's additional valuation. So basically, you guys won't even have that contact with the clients once you sell their home. They're going to be dealing directly with our office. So if you sell them a home in Grand Junction and Zach here is in Jersey, then they're going to be contacting our office. We're going to be contacting Zach. So when the claim process starts, we'll take care of that claim in our office and work through that with the van line, because we're the ones that are ultimately accountable to the corporations, to the individual, to the military, whoever that may be. Okay? So like you had brought up, Peter, something earlier about, you looking bad because of a van line issue. It's Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation who is. You are just a membership of Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation. Once you sell their home, they come to us. Before you sell their home, before you get the listing, they're dealing with us. So they're dealing with us to even report about your performance. Because like I said, when it comes to our network, it's not a Zillow, it's not Trulia. You can't pay more money to get more leads. It's based on performance. So when everything's delivered, the houses are sold, the houses are bought, and Renee sends me a HUD and says, Sonia, here's the final HUD for your corporate account to pay for this. Then we're going to do a interview with the client and say, okay, how is our service? How is the van line? How is the realtor? How is your insurance guy? How is your title company? Because we want to know how our overall service is, because we are a full circle solution.
When anyone receives their household goods, if you've relocated, it is obviously important that you take the inventory before the driver leaves and you do your cursory review. If you see a box that is damaged or crushed, you're absolutely welcome to open it on the spot, but it should be noted So taking advantage of that opportunity to note what has happened, and this is the kind of communication that makes it personal. I think that's a great way to look at any relationship, whether it's your real estate relationship or your van line relationship that you're representing or your title, insurance, or attorneys. The difference is we make it personal. And by communicating that to your client, they're going to receive their household goods. They're actually going to, look and notice and document anything that's happened when it arrives. If there's a damaged carton, that is right there, the thing that should be noted on the paperwork. But the van lines today, their reputation, simply because of social media, the impact of social media today has changed the industry completely. And no one wants a dissatisfied customer. So,
again, my name is Jeff Newcomer. I'm with Arpin Van Lines. I run the sales effort for our network of agents out there. We are based in Rhode Island, but we are a national and international company. We have 125 agents around the country. This type of business is actually right in our sweet spot. We are mainly a corporate and government mover. 40% of our work is corporate, and this we would consider a corporate affinity type account. It's a little bit different from a straight corporate where they just hand you the business, but that's the growing trend in the industry. And I'm sorry if I'm not holding this up close enough. Is towards these affinity type relationships and lump sums that corporations are giving to people. So our model is a little bit different. There were questions about Grand Junction and that type of stuff. I mean, we actually have a pack and load model. I mean, a lot of the major van lines do also. So when there's not coverage, what makes this actually such a good solution is if we are handed the cube sheet or the survey and it's correct and we're putting the right price to the services that are needed, we usually actually look to pack and haul the shipment on the same pack and load team from start to finish, because most surveys indicate that the same people all the way through actually delivers a better customer experience. So, and I could probably just keep talking, but you asked me to talk about survey expectations. That really is, I can't tell you how that's the most key ingredient to a successful relocation. We're all into wanting to deliver the best possible customer experience, and it's going to either come together or fall apart if the survey's done correctly. And when we look at our agencies and our moving companies and what we expect out of the survey, there's three things we're looking for. I mean, one is the basic, we call it cube, that's an old expression, but for shipments that move within a state, the charges, or within a town, the charge is locally by the hour. When it moves out intrastate or out of state, it's by weight and mileage. When it moves international, it's by cube. So we need a very accurate cube sheet, as we call it. And to John's point, I mean, today's electronic, the software that's out there, you really don't even have to be in the moving business to get close on that. But there's another couple key components that you'll need to learn in your training that are important. And one is service and the conditions. And this is something that you'll have to kind of put your mover hat on to get that, to look at those elements. And what I mean by service is that I heard Sonia when I walked in talk about packing or not packing, or is it just the fragiles pack? There's what we call third-party services. Are there bulky articles? Are there pool tables that need third-party service and crating? Are there chandeliers? Are there gas appliances that need third-party? So, and if we don't get that information up front, I mean, from our agents or from you, then we're all kind of set up to fail, because then we show up on move day without making, not only pricing it, which makes the customer angry, but also we're ill prepared to get that done. So a lot of the training is going to have to center around what we call services. A lot of other things, some of the realtors in the room, maybe you go in there and advise others to declutter their homes or something like that. So is there a mini storage somewhere else? Is there an attic? Is there a garage? So it's the detail. I mean, the devil is in the detail. And also conditions. We have the industry has very large tractor trailers, so a lot of cities we can't get into, or we have to shuttle, or we need permits to park. San Francisco, anything into the boroughs of New York, right up here in the mountains. There's a lot of shuttles that happen out of here. So, but I've found with the software, again, it's not like you have to be a driver and figure out how, where an 80-foot piece of equipment does and doesn't go. That's what cameras are for these days, or video. So if we get that kind of information. So conditions, even low-hanging trees we can't take equipment into, or alleys. Can't put a lot of our equipment into alleys. So again, the cube sheet is, and the packing, that's almost the easy part. And I think a lot of you have learned to, or see that stuff every day when you're walking through homes anyway. So a lot of the training will center on those other pieces that we need to pull the relocation off well. So I know Unigroup definitely has a containerized service. We do too. They're not, Unigroups is more of the metal container like you're used to seeing with a pod. We call ours ARPN Pack, and it actually goes in the same wooden lift vans that we do international shipping in. And that's a very different service, and it's actually an upsell service. I think it's the same thing at United, because you're right, it's good marketing by the container companies, actually, that it's a cheaper alternative. It's not. But with a full-service mover, you're right, there's probably going to be on average 2 to 3 families on the truck. I mean, so there are extended delivery times. So that's part of the expectation we need to know, or when the customer probably is counseled by Nationwide, because a pod or containerized service, it's like day certain pickup, day certain delivery, 7 days across country, and set the delivery up with the destination warehouse. So it is for the customer that needs that type of exacting service, and there's a cost to it. Yes, we have it. Because there is a pecking order in the van line world. National accounts rule the world, rule the van line world, and so to your point about if there's a escalated issue, because we will stub our toe. I like when I talk to our agents. It's in the moving business, it's how you respond to the problem, because when you're using a full service or one of the large name movers, a top 5, top 10 mover, the service is going to be delivered 95% of the time. That's the expectation that social media puts on us with COD customers. That's the expectation our accounts put on us, or they're going to go to somewhere else. So for that 5%, it's all in how you respond to it. But national accounts definitely pull the most weight, because it's move after move after move. And so we'll treat Nationwide as our national account. And I can tell you that running the sales effort for ARPN across the country, this program will actually be taken in-house. We have an affinity, we call it an affinity program, and so all the pricing will actually be done out of the corporate office, and then we'll look to place the business and the booking with the right service provider, the right ARPN agent in that area.
Part of what I wanted to touch on, and we haven't hit enough on the attorney aspect, is in certain states we don't use title companies. They don't do it. They don't use title companies at all. So it's really important that we get the attorneys in here as well, because there are a lot of states out there that are all the title searches, all the closing stuff, all the documents are done in state. In Colorado, we're one of the only states out there that have regulated contracts. We're one of the only ones that have standard contracts. So in Colorado, we don't need attorneys as much. But our job is to tell them, if you have any questions on this contract, that you need to talk to an attorney. So we need you attorneys. We need you for our clients to protect them and keep them safe. What we're offering you, whether it's an attorney, whether it's a title, whether it's a lender, whether it's a broker, whether it's an insurance company, we're offering you a part of a network that is going to be full service relocation. We need every one of you guys as much as you need us guys. But we're different than the other people out there who are trying to give you leads. 99% of the people, I don't think it was Nikki, but I had several people here that said, well, we'll pay you a referral fee. Desiree, we had 106 people across the nation that wanted to watch this live or WebEx. And the first thing out of their mouth was, we'll pay you a referral fee, okay? Now, I'm a licensed broker. By law, I could take that referral fee. We don't want that referral fee. That's not what this is about. The leads are not going to go to Nagel and Associates. They're going to be rotating leads who are going to go to everybody in this network. And once we get through that, we're going to start judging you guys on performance. Like I said, we're going to call after the moves, after the relocations, and we're going to say, hey, how was your performance? How was the realtor? How was the title insurance? How was the insurance guy? How was your lender? Because we're in with these national accounts and we want to make sure that they stay in our network. And in order to do that, in order to be a broker or a lender or an insurance company or anybody who's servicing Fortune 500 companies, you have to give them Fortune 500 service. And those are the people that we want to gain their trust, we want to do the right thing, and we want to grow with them. So what we do, what we offer you is qualified leads. These aren't leads like Trulia or Zillow that you're getting a phone call in your Zillow voicemail and it's somebody hangs up. Those aren't the type of leads we're talking about. These are national accounts. These are corporate accounts. This is military. When we call you, it's a done deal. You just need to go out and do your job. That's it. So it's not call this guy and close this deal. That's not what we're asking you to do. When we call you, we need you to list the property. We need you to take a buyer out. When we call you, we're calling you. We call Brian. We say, Brian, we need an attorney. We need you to do this. You're in the network. Okay, so it's not like these leads are leads that aren't useful or leads that there's nobody on the other end. We're giving you leads that these people are ready to go. They're relocating. They're in our network, and they're using our service, and we need you guys to provide that service. You know, when I think of, and I'm not going to try and embarrass you again, Tony, but when I think of brokers in the state of Colorado, seriously, when I first got licensed, I think 10 years ago, one of the women that just really caught my attention because she is a go-getter, and she almost, you would have been great in transportation because you have our mentality. Seriously. She's a go-getter, and I said, I can't do this event without Tony Tiemann because Tony Tiemann is a go-getter. You know, I see Nikki sitting here shaking her head, and she's the same. You know, anything we can do to service our clients to make it convenient for them, and when you get a 98% referral or a 95% referral rate, that's because you do the right thing for the clients. Those are the type of people that we want in this network to service those clients. Transaction management. All you guys do is do what you do every day. You're not doing anything different besides the brokers are doing a survey. It takes 15 minutes when you walk in a house. You turn it over to us, your headaches are gone. Somebody had said when the move goes bad, they're calling us, they're not calling you, okay? Direct sales marketing, we're doing that. We're doing corporate sales marketing. We've got name recognition. When you walk into a property, you're not only a broker, but you've got behind you Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation, Arpin Van Lines, you've got United Van Lines. When Jeff or John have a Grand Junction and they don't have anybody over there, they're going to call me and say, hey, do you have anybody that wants to go do this survey? And I'm going to call Regina and I'm going to say, Regina, can you go do this survey? By the way, this is the perfect opportunity for you to be able to list their house. So you're going to be in front of clients like that as well. We've got no referral fee. We don't do that. We have a unique branding. There is nobody else in the industry. When you talk full relocation, there is nobody else in the United States or Europe that is doing a full relocation network. And minimal competition, which pretty much is none. You have other relocation companies out there, and basically what they're doing is they're referring. You may have a relationship with somebody in Van Lines that says, you know what, call so-and-so, they're a broker, or vice versa. There may be somebody who's a broker that says, you know what, why don't you call Jeff over at Arpin? But it's not a network. It's not that full service. It's a referral thing, and that's where you get in trouble, Pete. I think you and I talked about that on the phone. When I'm referring somebody, I better make sure they're good because that's coming back on me. You know, when John and Jeff were talking about the estimates in Van Lines, you know, when I started doing it, we had a legal size sheet of paper, and we had about 4 of them, and we walked through the house, and we put check marks for every one of them. Now this survey is very easy to learn. You can do it on an iPad, you can do it on a Surface, you can do it on your iPhone. And you walk through and you click what the articles are. The technique is going to be in, I need 50 boxes for this, 40 boxes for that, 20 boxes for this. This needs to be created, and that's all the stuff we're going to teach you besides the software. All right, for brokers, all the other suppliers, those were the things we were offering you, whether you're insurance, whether you're attorneys, whatever you are. The brokers, again, you get an added plus. And I'm not trying to say you guys are special because I am one of you. You guys just are the first ones that walk in the properties. You've got the van line training, which you get survey pay for. You've got, and actually that should be a 25% referral from the destination broker who you never even have to talk to. You get your full listing commission. Van life surveys that are not in the network, like I just said. I may call Regina and say, hey Regina, we got somebody moving. You want to go in and do an estimate? And she says, yeah, and she actually ends up getting a listing out of walking in and doing a van line estimate. You get extra money in a listing. You can't beat that. Face-to-face with the consumers. You're out there, you're in front of them. They may have a family member outside the state that they refer you to because you did a good job that's not in the network. These are things that, while you guys are out there, we all do mail-outs. We do all this stuff. We waste all this money trying to get leads. We're putting you right in front of the clients. If the real estate market, I'm trying to think who's probably one of the oldest in real estate around here, and I'm going to hit on you, Paul. Paul opened one of the first Remaxes, but Paul, how many times have you seen the market turn to where we went way up here and then way down here and people were hungry? Okay. So right now we're in a market and we're going up. When I started in the market, when I started working with Tony Tiemann, I was doing short sales, I was doing foreclosures, and everybody was scrambling to figure out how they were going to eat. With this gives you another avenue of revenue when the market takes a notch, and then our market will take a notch again. Right now we're living high here in Denver. Unfortunately, across the United States, I was back in Connecticut, and they were just starting to do short sales, and they asked me how to do short sales because they didn't have experience. This was in December. So I was able to pass on to them back in Connecticut how to do short sales, because had I not did short sales, I'd be pretty hungry right now. You know, so we're offering you that. The difference between our marketing and traditional marketing, we're giving you actual clients. It's not just people shopping on Zillow looking for a home. We do no referral fee. They do referral fees. Qualified leads, non-qualified leads. We're putting a corporate sales force on the ground. You're getting a call center with Zillow if you can even get a hold of them after they get your money, because I found that to be true too. Direct sales marketing, I don't know about you guys, but I get home and I find postcards and I throw them in the trash. I'm too busy. I don't have time to read that. To me, it's been a waste of money. Minimal competition again. When it comes to doing the full service relocation, we actually have no competition whatsoever. There is not a company here or in Europe that is doing this exact same thing. I think we have 2 people on from the UK and 1 from Italy on the conference call right now, because nobody else is doing this. Traditional marketing, mail out costs, $250, $300 a month, that's $3,600 a year. Zillow, for just your face on their site, $10 a month, $200 a month. Could be $2,400 a year. Trulia, $29 a month or $79 a month. That's what I said about buying leads. The guy that gets $79.99 a month gets the leads. If you're not at $79.99 a month, you don't get anything from them. Yearly cost, you can go up to $1,000. You know, when I first started doing real estate, I signed up on, I think it was ushud.com. Is that the name of the site? It was a $1,000 setup fee and then a monthly charge. Never got a phone call. Never got a phone call, and that was a lot of money. I think we're done with that one. All right, With Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation, there is no setup fee, number one. Desiree, and by the way, give her a big hand. She has worked her butt off to roll this out in 2 months. Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation, we do a membership fee, $29.95 a month. Yearly, that's $359.40. And Desiree set it up that if you sign up for the annual, it's $300. Is that correct? I can do that in one mail out. I can do that in, well, a referral fee, 25% is a whole lot more than that. We give you the van line training. We do charge for the training. I'll be going all over the country. Again, you can get the software. You can put it on your iPad, on your Surface. Actually, I have it on my iPad. I have it on my Surface. I have it on my desktop. I have it on my phone. So I can walk in with my iPhone when I'm in doing a listing agreement, and I can keep out everything that's in their house, send an email to the office, and it's done. So 15 minutes. The yearly cost with everything, well, if you're not a broker, the yearly cost, I think, comes to $359 to advertise with us, be a part of our network. If you are a broker, you're looking at total cost $658.80. But when it comes to that, again, what we're talking about is we have Stewart here, we have Fidelity here, we have Megastar, we have Fairways. We're talking about a full-service corporate solution for executives or anybody else moving. So that's what you call relocation. It's not just buying and selling a home. It's not just throwing it on a truck. What we're offering with Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation, we're pending that on trademarks, and we're also pending Worldwide Real Estate and Relocation, and we're doing that because we have people in Europe that are just as excited about this idea and wanting to do it. You know, I seriously, I think we want to probably, depending, I mean, we're looking at Denver, right? So I want maybe 4 or 5 lenders, 4 or 5 brokers, 4 or 5 insurance, because certain corporate accounts may like somebody and not like somebody else. So 4 or 5 in each. Western Slope, same way. Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Fort Collins. We do not want to flood the market. What we want is we want a Cadillac of service relocation company. We don't need to flood the market, but I don't want somebody driving 150, 200 miles either. We want to make sure you're licensed. We want to make sure you have your E&O's insurance. We want to make sure that you have no pending issues with DORA. We want your resume. We want your resume. We want client referrals. I want to know that your clients love you. I want to know that when, and God forbid, we all get this call, but I want to know that if I call you at 7 o'clock at night, that you're going to pick up the phone. You know, Nikki was shaking her head. Let me tell you a story. Here's what we're looking for. We're looking for just the opposite of this. And Judy Stevens and I, actually, this was a deal we did. We were working with a gentleman, and he found a home that he just loved. So I wrote an offer on it, and I submitted the offer, and I put my acceptance deadline. Never heard back from the broker. So when the acceptance deadline ended, I called. I said, I have faxed this to you. I have called you. I have emailed you. Can you give me a call because I submitted a full price offer on your house? Never heard a word from him. So I called his employing broker. And I said, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of like in the business of buying and selling homes. Can this guy call me? And he said, yeah. So the guy called me back and he said, you know what, Sonia? I'll submit it to my client and I'll get back to you tomorrow. My client has been in his house for 3 years, not that one. That house went into short sale and foreclosed. And I gave him a full price offer. That's what we don't want. We want people who are responsive. We want people who take pride in their jobs. We want people who are going to go out on an executive move and give them class and style. We want old-fashioned customer service. We don't want just an email, well, I emailed him. Pick up the phone and call. We want that customer service, that commitment that we used to have. You know, people used to be able to go to McDonald's and get customer service. They can't even do that. What we want with Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation is we want that customer service. We want our clients to rave about us. Because the more they rave about us, the bigger we grow. And that's what we want. No, you're never going to touch the freight. You'll never touch the freight. The only thing you're going to do is go in and do the survey. You know, and I used to say any monkey in a suit can do a survey. And needless to say, I can. We can't, because it's going to depend on where people are relocating. We do work with Vestas. We work with several companies here that I've had relationships for years. Certain areas are going to grow faster than other ones aren't. What's happening right now is because our economy's turning around and people are relocating over the world, it's just going to get busier and busier. And you may not get a listing, but you get buyers. Look at how many people are moving to Colorado, whether it's IBM, Hewlett-Packard, Vestas, BP, Shell.
So it's nrercorp.com. And how it works is we're developing, it's still, a lot of this is still in development. This is just the beginning stages of it. We're creating a members-only area of the website. So when you become a member, you'll log in. When you've paid your fee, you will get access to that members-only area, okay? We're going to be uploading and downloading documents to you. There's going to be all sorts of information for you. And that's part of the benefits of becoming part of the network is just a lot of this information will be served up through the website. So, I'm sorry, we're just waiting for the computer. Once you have signed in, you will automatically get access to that area. Otherwise, if you go to the website now and you haven't actually bought a membership, you can't get into members only, all right? We still have a couple of things we're working out with PayPal. So I am expecting that tomorrow when I have some more time with them that you can actually get on there and sign up. We do have the information on the page, but it's been a nightmare trying to get through all of this with the PayPal service. So, but that's what we're using.
And we actually, like I said, we not only provide all that training for the brokers, but again, somebody calls us, Vestas calls me, and they say, hey, we're up here in eastern Colorado, and we've got an employee. I'm going to call the broker, and then I'm going to call Mark. And I'm going to say, Mark, this guy needs insurance, and then we're going to go ahead and call the lender and say, hey, we need a loan up here. What kind of loans do you have up here? And then we're going to call Tom and Renee and say, okay, who's got a title company up here? You know, I had a closing a couple weeks ago where literally the only person who was close to the title company was the broker, the listing broker, and he was in DTC. My client was off 84th Avenue, and the seller came from Erie. That's what we don't want. What we want is if Joe's moving, we want to be able to go to his office and say, hey, we're going to close right here at your office. You never even have to leave your office, because that's what service is. We're going to make it convenient for you. You know, when we've got brokers pulling people all the way from Erie, Colorado down to DTC, that's not customer service. That's not service. That's an inconvenience. When we're closing strictly in Cherry Creek or downtown and somebody's having to pay for parking, what kind of service is that to your clients? Yeah, come down and buy a house, and by the way, can you stick a couple bucks in the meter? That's not service. We ought to be sticking the money in the meter, and we ought to be walking up to their office, and we ought to be closing there for them, because that's service.
But this is the member sign-up area that I was talking about. So let's just scroll down and you can see there's a multiple, just going to explain to you what the benefits of membership are. Okay, and there is the monthly and then the annual. You can just choose to pay for the survey, get that training. And so we have the benefits listed here, and then at the bottom, there's your checkout. So you can use that drop down there to choose what kind of membership or what kind of training you want, and then fill it out. So what will happen is once you fill this out, PayPal makes a note of the fact that you're buying a recurring membership. It brings you back to our site. You don't actually even have to leave, and it says now you can log in, and then you can get access to the members-only information, which we're building now. It's not ready yet, so we're on our way. As Sonia said, we've been doing this, and this is 2 months of effort to get everything going and get her account set up and get the PayPal stuff working. So, you know, so I just encourage you to look around. We do have more forms that are going to be available. We have a contact us area. You can reach me as a webmaster. If you have any trouble when you're signing up or logging in, you can contact me through that form. And we'll make sure that you can get into the site and get everything you need, okay? So that's basically it. Our services are going to be listed. All of you are going to be listed here with your partner areas. All that information is already in there. So whatever you're going to be a part of here at Nationwide Real Estate and Relocation, you'll be part of that group. Okay? It is secure. We've got an SSL cert on this, so you don't have to worry about your membership. Okay, so if there's any questions, I think you just need to look around, spend some time on the site.
Again, for you guys, it's very simple. You're getting the leads, you're getting the business. All the operational stuff is handled in our office. So you'll get the lead, I'll call you, I'll say, Regina, we got one for you, can you go out and do this? And if you say no, right now I'm buried, I can't do it, then we'll go to the next one. Okay? But then you'll get a follow-up with all the contact information, the phone number, the address, everything you need to go in. So basically, you go ahead and you can, you know, right now you can email, you can fax, you can upload, you can go in and sign up, upload all your docs. We want a copy of your license, copy of your errors and omissions, copy of your insurance, you know, and if you don't have any, you know, you can call one of these insurance guys, but we want a copy of that because when you're out there driving, it's no different than when you work for RE/MAX or KW. You've got to provide a copy of your insurance because, like right now, if Jose Rex taking John to the airport, that's Nagel and Associates, and we got to have insurance. Yeah, we'll take them in that way after they've been confirmed. And the reason we say that, Brian, is if you're an excellent attorney, we're not going to allow them to use somebody else. If you're a great attorney, we're not going to do that. So once they're qualified, yes, we'll take them. But we don't just want anybody off the streets. We literally want to provide that customer service. Yeah, he can do that. And again, he's getting paid a referral fee. What we're doing is we're going directly to the employing brokers in all these different locations to have them sign that referral fee. Because as you all know, in law, if it's not signed, then it's not going to happen. And if the wrong person signs it, then it's not going to happen. So that's why we're making the employing broker do that. So yes, as long as they are great realtors and their employing broker signs off to make sure it gets paid, yes. Because you know as well as I do in law, anymore a handshake doesn't mean anything. So literally their employing broker will sign off on that because a lot of people do referrals and they never get paid. They have to fight for it. And that's why we're making the employing broker sign for that. No, all we need is their signature saying that if you have a move coming in, somebody's moving to Vestas and we give them to you, that you're going to pay that referral fee. So all they have to do is sign for you saying that. Because that is the key right there, is when we're looking at Becca and Lighthouse, we don't have to worry about that because Becca can sign her own. But when you're with a RE/MAX or somebody, those checks are going to RE/MAX. So yes.